8:21 Pacific Time. You're listening to CBC Radio 1. The new year is a time when some of us start making resolutions or saying things like, new year, new me. For a lot of people, that means changing your eating habits or going on a diet. To help us with some tips on how to keep things healthy this year, we're joined this morning by Darcy Furness. She's a nutrition consultant with Choices Market. Good morning, Darcy.
Good morning, Chris, and thank you for having me on your show this morning.
Well, thanks for joining us. What's the first thing you tell someone looking to change their lifestyle?
I would say set your bar really low and pick one easy habit that you can change and build on that week over week. Because I'm not sure about you, Chris, and if you're a resolution kind of a guy, but for many of us, we seem to recycle our resolutions year over year. I'm going to lose 30 pounds this year, and off we go. But if we start off simply, habits, accumulation of new good habits become behaviors, and behaviors will help us get to our goals. So set your bar low, pick one thing a week. Maybe this week we'll do a menu plan and just lay out what we're going to be eating this week. It can be really fun. Maybe next week we're going to increase our water. We're going to have 4 glasses of water a day, and so on and so forth.
And I wonder if you can talk a little bit more about that. Like, how low can our bar be?
Well, here's the truth. How many times have we seen ourselves in the grocery store looking at the big bag of chips? That's a lot cheaper than the smaller bag of chips. And we talk ourselves into buying the big bag of chips. But we all know that once we start binge-watching Netflix in our pajamas, we're going to be at the bottom of that bag ultimately. So we should have gone for the little bag. So let's set our bar really low and say, we're going to have some treats. It's kind of a weird time. We're going to enjoy ourselves, but we're going to do it with some presence and some mindfulness. So we can have it all. We just can't have it all the same day.
Right, and you mentioned, setting those little goals because then you achieve those goals, and that gives you kind of like a positive feedback loop. Why is that such a successful strategy?
I think because, we overcomplicate things, and we're too vague, and vagueness is sort of the catastrophic way to achieve goals because we don't know how to get there. We haven't set a blueprint for ourselves. And I think it's pretty simple when it comes to nutrition. We've made it so complicated, and this isn't an individual's fault. This is sort of food industry and the nutrition world itself. Basically, it comes down to 3 things, how we eat, what we eat, and when we eat. And if you sort of pull these apart a little bit, if we eat with a bit more mindfulness and we don't eat in response to emotions or just because, let's say you go in the door from work today and you're really hungry, the first thing you're going to grab you're not going to grab a bunch of carrots. You're going to grab bread, muffins, cookies if they're hanging around, things like that. So we want to be mindful about what we're eating. Then when it comes down to what we eat, people will be shocked to see how much sugar is embedded into all of our foods. And we're lucky in Canada that we have a food labeling system. So you grab your box of cookies, flip it over, look at the serving size, look at the sugar listings. Let's say total sugars are 20 grams of sugar for 2 cookies. Divide that by 4. That gives you the approximate number of teaspoons of sugar per serving. People will be shocked to realize that there's about 5 teaspoons of sugar in a serving of vanilla yogurt. So it really comes down to what we're eating. And a little bit of knowledge goes a long way. So setting these small habits, starting with a menu plan, and building bit by bit, little successes after a month. Now we're looking at our sugars. Now we're making sure we have veggies a few times a week. Little bit. That will change our behavior on a permanent basis. The other thing I'd like to bring up quickly is when we eat. We eat too late. Ideally, we'd stop eating 3 hours before a reasonable bedtime. And we eat too often. So we're in this grazing mentality. And interestingly, the whole concept of grazing isn't really based in science. Breakfast being the most important meal of the day was in fact early cereal company propaganda. So we don't want to be constantly in the fed state. So if we just have 3 meals a day, for the majority of us, that's more than adequate. For those chubby among us, even having 2 meals a day can be really great. And we can extend the time that we're not eating. Say by finish dinner at 7 o'clock one night, the next morning we're not that hungry, have coffee. Maybe we don't eat again until 10 or 11 that morning. That can be great for us. So all of these small habits we can just layer on week over week. And by the end of a month or two, we actually may be on our way to reaching those goals that we've been setting for ourselves for the last how many years?
Well, you know,
What are you having for dinner tonight, Chris?
it's my wife's week to cook, so I have no idea actually.
Okay. Is she a bit of a planner? Like, does she have a menu
yeah, we
planner?
both we have 1 week on, 1 week off, each of us, and we both plan meals.
Good for you. And do you enjoy cooking?
Well, hang on. Oh yeah, we both love cooking, especially with cream and butter.
Okay, so that's a good thing. So you reduce your sugars and you actually increase your healthy fats and paying attention to quality over quantity. So I have a theory too that, nature makes really good food. And in fact, it's us humans that tend to muck it up somewhat. I don't believe there's any unhealthy fats in nature when we eat the amount that we actually need. So carry on with that kind of thing. I do very well managing and losing weight on a lower carb diet with higher fats. Not extreme, but these small changes over time. Also, it sounds like you're eating what you love. And that's so important these days. Food should be a celebration. It's a gift to ourselves. We have to be compassionate, stay present with it, be grateful to have it, and kind of carry on from there.
The food prices are expected to go up this year more than in other years. There is I don't know if it's a misconception, but that eating healthily is more expensive. Can you shed some light on that?
It can be, but I really think the truth is, if we do go back to a bit of a menu plan, and doesn't a menu plan sound like so much more fun than a meal plan? A menu plan implies that we might just be going out somewhere. So if you did your own menu plan, the advantage of that is you actually waste less food, you save money, you help the environment, and you're being thoughtful about it. And taking a list into a grocery store is so much more empowering than walking in and being bombarded by marketing excellence. Buy this, this is on sale. If you get five of these instead of one of these, you're going to save money. Basically, you save money when you have a firm plan and you stick with it as much as you can. Also, there's lots of sales around. You can build your menus based on what's going on sale for the week. Always look in your freezer, look in your fridge, and see what you have on hand. We waste so much food, and most food wastage comes from households, not restaurants. So that's an interesting thing. But the most important thing is really enjoy it, just love what you eat.
Darcy, great to talk to you this morning. Thanks for all the tips.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Darcy Furness is a nutrition consultant with Choices Markets. You're listening to CBC Radio 1.